Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us to count down the top 10 highest scoring championship teams ever. I keep getting asked, because we think Fulham are going to get on this list this season somehow, what the top scorers, who the top scorers are, what the list is. So I've made it. Here it is, just for complete clarity. I've gone from 92-93 to start of the Premier League era. So if you want to make any honourable mentions before that, please stick them in the comments. And of course, the playoffs are not counted. They are not part of the championship season. An extra competition added on the end. Just so we are clear. So, coming in on number 10, and it's quite apt, is Fulham. And it's Jean Tigana's Fulham of 2000-2001. And look in the picture there. Louis Boamorte, he's on the staff at Fulham this season, isn't he? I think it was Tigana's first season. They went out like an absolute train and they scored 90 goals at a rate of 1.96 per game. Louis Saha top scored with 27. Some other names in that Fulham team. John Collins, he was a great player, wasn't he? Karl-Heinz Riedler, he was dripping in medals from his time in Germany, wasn't he? Lee Clark, Sean Davis, Barry Hales. What a great start to the list. Get your memories of that Fulham team in the comments. And I wonder if another Fulham team this season is going to be on that list. I suspect they may well be. Coming in ninth is Watford from 2014-15, who scored 91 goals at a rate of 1.98 goals per game. And Watford are the only team on this list to not win the title. They finished second with their 91 goals under Slavisa Jokanovic, it says there. But we all know Jokanovic was the fourth manager Watford had that season. Some things never change, do they? He was there from October and he took them through to second place and promotion. Troy Deeney was the top scorer with 21. He bounced back from, the most famous goal of his career, but losing in the playoffs prior to that. I think Watford have been in the Championship for 8 seasons going into this. Odion Igalo and Mate Vidra were also there. So Watford had some proper strikers who've done it at the highest level. They had all 3 of them in the Championship, and go figure, they scored 91 goals. Get your thoughts in on that Watford team and your memories. Number 8, look at that. What a team. Sunderland, 98-99, also scored 91 goals at a rate of 1.98 goals per game, winning the championship under Peter Reid. Kevin Phillips, 23 goals. And it's another team that's come off from playoff heartbreak, isn't it? Sunderland, were perhaps one of the unluckiest teams in championship history. Highest ever points tally to not get promoted. They do the job the next season. Kevin Phillips got 23 goals. He was actually injured for a lot of the season as well. And I interviewed Kevin Phillips for the channel, and he thinks he probably could have broken all sorts of records that season. It was a great team. I think they got 100 points as well. So look, sometimes the losing playoff finalists, if they keep the team together, can go on and do the job. And that's why Sunderland are on our highest scoring list. Phillips and Quinn obviously up top. Dickio and Bridges backing them up as well. Alan Johnston and Nicky Summerby getting the ammo in from the wings. Should I mention Lee Clark again, who's also in this team? Get your memories in of that brilliant Sunderland team in 98-99. In 7th, we don't have to go far from Sunderland to Newcastle. And this is the first season we're talking about, 92-93. And good old Kevin Keegan's Newcastle scored 92. So we're up now from 90 to 92. That's 2 goals per game. They won the title, go figure. I think they won their first 11 games. It's a typical Keegan team, swashbuckling, get on a run, and they're completely unstoppable. But look in the picture there. A young Andy Coyle. They had him in the second tier. Can you imagine? David Kelly, though, on his shoulders, was the top scorer there. 24 goals. This is a brilliant team when you think about what this team did in nearly winning the actual Premier League title. And a lot of the players, David Kelly less so, but Andy Cole, Rob Lee, Gavin Peacock, Lee Clark as well. He keeps coming up, Lee Clark, doesn't he? A brilliant team under Keegan. And 7th in our list. Get your comments on that Newcastle team. In 6th, yes, it's the most recent name on the list. It's Norwich City from 2018-19. So we've all probably got recent memories of this. Scored 93 goals, over 2 per game for them. 2018-19, first place under Daniel Farker. Teemu Pukki scored 29 goals. He didn't quite get the magic 30, but in the picture I had to put Emi Buendia, who in recent championship history, certainly last decade or so, has been one of the most dominant players we've seen. Way too good for the league. And 2 title campaigns on his shoulders, really. Brilliant player. And it was the combination of Buendia and Pukki that got lots and lots of those goals scored and created. But Stiepermann, Hernandez also weighing in with goals there. And the funny thing about that Norwich team is I don't remember a massive 6s, 7s, etc. But so consistent. 2s, 3s, 4s, 2s, 3s, 4s. Very good team. Very entertaining team. Won lots of games late on. Scored lots of goals. And that's why, with over 2 goals per game, Norwich come up in 6th. I would say get your memories of that team in, but we can all remember them only from a few seasons ago. Excellent team that. Can you remember this one though? Portsmouth in 2002-2003 scored 97 goals. Bit of a jump up now. Jump up by 4, and we're really getting into the high scorers here. And look in the picture. Paul Merson, no less, playing in the 2nd tier, and he's still got a few years to go in his career as well. And Merson absolutely took the mickey at championship level. Pompey under Harry Redknapp. They also had Jim Smith there in the dugout as well. So loads of experience. Svetoslav Todorov hit 26 goals. I remember him being on a very high title quite soon into the season. So he could have got even more. And that Pompey team was loaded. Todorov and Merson, obviously. Yakubu gets into English football there. And people like Tim Sherwood, Steve Stone, Gianluca Festa, who all played at a much higher level. And obviously Harry Redknapp bringing his contact books and just letting those guys play. But yeah, a Merson anywhere near the peak of his powers in the 2nd tier was always going to mean goals. Get your memories in. What a team that was for Pompey. In 4th, now we've already mentioned this season as it pertains to Watford, 2014-15. Here are your title winners that season. And they got 98 goals. We're getting close to the 100. We're talking about Bournemouth and Eddie Howe, who was in the squad in that previous Portsmouth team, actually. So a little bit of a strange link up there. Callum Wilson got 20 goals. And I think the most impressive thing, well, apart from scoring 98 goals in a season about this Bournemouth team, is it looked fairly well shared out in terms of the goal scoring there. Wilson, Kermagant, Ritchie, Pittman, Pugh, Harry Arter, that team. Okay, people talk about FFP, they were found guilty. But what we can say is it was a thoroughly entertaining team on the pitch that did hit 98 goals. So close to the 100. Get your memories in of Bournemouth 2014-15. What a vintage season. And that is the only season, by the way, where we get 2 teams on the list, 2014-15. In 3rd place, and how many times on the channel have we talked about this lot? Reading 2005-2006, a completely iconic championship team, the highest scoring points tally ever. Lots of people argue the greatest championship team ever according to that season. 99 goals. They got the points record. They didn't get 100 goals, but hey, I think we're nitpicking there. 2.15 per game. Steve Coppell in the dugout. And talking about Bournemouth sharing out the goals, Reading score more goals with the top scorer having a lower total than Bournemouth there. Doyle and Kitson, that front two, both getting 18 goals. Leroy Lita, the reserve striker as well, I think got maybe 15 or thereabouts. And Reading fan will correct me in the comments. Harper and Sidwell in midfield were very, very good. Little and Convey as well. The centre halves, it was at Sonko, Ingemarson, they weighed in with goals as well. And this team was just absolutely dominant. And that's why they nearly got the 100 goals. And I think you all know what's coming. We've got 2 100 goal teams. The first of which are Bolton Wanderers in 96-97. 100 goals. Only 2 teams have done it since 92-93. There are Nathan Blake and John McGinley hugging in the picture. What a front two. They scored tons of goals between them. Colin Todd was the manager. John McGinley actually pops up in our individual player. He was prolific. I think top scorer in the Championship 2 seasons there in the 90s. And that was the interesting thing about that Bolton team. I think this is the season after they would, correct me if I'm wrong, abjectly relegated from the Premier League, but they really retooled in the best way. Alan Thompson there, he was actually in the Newcastle squad in the 92-93 squad we've already mentioned. And they start to go European. The first little hints of what Big Sam's going to do years later. Colin Todd starts with Per Franson and Michael Johansson coming in, but a highly, highly dominant Bolton Wanderers team in 96-97. Coming at number 2 with 100 goals. So here come our winning team, the highest scoring Championship team ever. Manchester City from 2001-2002. 108 goals for Manchester City. Well over 2 goals per game. 2.35 goals per game. And it's Kevin Keegan again. We had him with the Newcastle team. He's going to come back, and he just knew how to set up an attacking team. But if you read Keegan's book, there's a brilliant story about the guy in the picture there, Ali Benarbia, one of the greatest players and greatest seasons we've ever seen in Championship history, was just knocking about, former French Player of the Year, and they picked him up on a 3. And listen to these attacking players. Sean Gota, who top scored, as you can see in the slide there, with 28 goals, was just a goal machine, and he did do it at the top level. Darren Huckabee was always slated as too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premier League. Well, he was too good for the Championship again here. Paolo Wanchop did it at the top level, and Ali Benarbia and Ale Berkovic. Most teams, you just fit one of those in. Keegan got both of them in, and yeah, they just absolutely beat up a glorious team. A 6 in the League Cup as well, a 4 in the FA Cup against my team Ipswich as well. An absolute goal machine of the team. And they are the highest scoring Championship team from 92-93. But we'll say ever, just for the sake of the title being good of the video. Get your memories in of that Manchester City team. What a team they were. Now, let's draw some conclusions. So, if you score 80 goals in the Championship, you are extremely good. That is the standard. Getting to 80 plus, I think, you're going to be in with a chance of being the top scorers in the division over that 46 game run. Remember, it's kind of easier to get 3 points in a game, apparently, than it is to get 2 goals, because we normally say 92 points is a very high standard, 2 points per game in terms of points accumulation, whereas 80 for the goals, obviously, you're going to, drop points during the season. You're going to have 1 goal wins. And, I think the numbers bear that out. If you get 90 plus, you're in the top 10. Obviously, again, with that honourable mention to Newcastle United under Chris Hughton. And we should mention with Andy Carroll and Kevin Nolan scoring tons of goals for that team as well. If you get 100 plus, you are in the absolute elite from 92-93. Only 2 teams have got the 100 goals, Bolton and Man City. And we wonder, we'll talk about them in a second, whether Fulham are going to do it this season. It looks like they will. So only Troy Deeney's Watford made the list and didn't win the title. So this list, 9 out of 10 of them were champions. And of course, it stands to reason that teams that score tons of goals do tend to win football matches, dominate leagues and win them. Not much of a surprise there. So Kevin Keegan, huge shout out to him. I know he gets a bit derided and mocked sometimes for not being able to go with Fergie, but he was a great manager in the 90s and he really took Newcastle, and he's on the list with them. He came back after England and went with Man City again, and just an absolute dominant team. He just knew how to produce that football. And there is some argument that Fulham team, 2000-2001, I think Keegan might leave, not the season before, maybe the season before that. I don't know my exact timings to go and do England. But some of that squad were probably built by Keegan as well. So he is the managerial kingpin of this list. And Lee Clark is most definitely the MVP of this list. What an incredible stat. Lee Clark is involved in 3 of the top 10 championship scoring teams of all time. Keegan's Newcastle, Tigana's Fulham, and Peter Reid's Sunderland. Lee Clark is banging central midfield, a dominant championship player, wasn't he? So, everyone's been asking about the current Fulham team. Will they get on this list? I think they will. That seems like stating the bleeding obvious because they've played 26 games. They've got 20 to go and they're on 2.69 goals. Remember, our top team, I think Manchester City, was it 2.35? So at this stage, you know, and even allowing for a drop-off, they are way ahead. Obviously, they've scored 7, 6 and 6 in consecutive games. But don't worry, that's not an outlier for this Fulham team as well. It's not just one big glut. So they've got 20 games to go. Remember, we said 80 goals is, you know, above average. So 10 more and they're there. So that's 0.5 goals again. They're definitely going to do that. Probably do that in the next 3 or 4 games, won't they? The rate they're going. Will they get 90? I think that's a shoo-in. So 1 goal per game now for Fulham to get 90. Will they get 100? It looks like it, doesn't it? So the question is, can Fulham keep up their form? And if they're around, well, I mean, what are they? 70 at the moment. 2 goals per game till the end of the season would take them to 110 and would break the championship record set by Manchester City. So let me know whether you think Fulham are going to do it. I think they could. I really think they could do it, and we could have a new number 1 on this list at the end of the season. We will redo it, and we will all stand and applaud Fulham, the goal machine. But let's just do a quick recap. Give me your memories of Fulham 2000-2001 under Jean Tigana. Watford 2014-15, Jokanovic. Sunderland under Peter Reid, the team of Quinn and Phillips. Newcastle under Kevin Keegan, going to go and do very well in the Premier League with Andy Coyle in the second tier, for goodness sakes. Norwich, the team of Buendia and Pookie and Daniel Farker in 2018-19. Pompey, Paul Merson and Todorov and Steve Stone and Tim Sherwood and Harry and Jim. Top of the league with Harry and Jim, they used to sing, didn't they? Bournemouth, 2014-15. Eddie Howe's free-flowing attacking team there. Callum Wilson coming 4th. Reading, maybe the greatest championship team ever. Certainly the biggest points total ever. Bolton, McGinley and Blake and Colin Todd. And finally, we've already mentioned them and glowed about Kevin Keegan's Manchester City. Benabia, Berkovic, Gota. Mentioned Stuart Pearce was playing left back for them as well. Great little stroll down memory lane. Get your comments in any of those teams. And we will see you soon. And we'll certainly see you at the end of the season where we're really very likely to be adding Fulham 2021-22 into that list. Thank you for watching. Over and out.